You've heard the headline. It doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on in the whole Kyle Rittenhouse shooting saga. You have no doubt about it. You've heard the headline. Hunting laws allowed Kyle Rittenhouse to carry weapon during fatal shootings in Wisconsin, lawyers say. And one would naturally come up with the conclusion that Kyle's lawyers are claiming that Kyle was hunting that night, for humans, of course, and that's what allowed him to carry the rifle. Wrong. That is not what is taking place here. The headline writer got it wrong, screwed it up. This is the most damaging headline in the history of this entire Kenosha shootings, and it should serve as a warning sign for all future journalists on being very careful of what you say and how you say it. Hello out there. I am trying to get through. So what's wrong with this? Well, if you look at the title, it says lawyers say. It doesn't say defense lawyers say. It just says lawyers, allowing the reader to surmise who they're talking about. Now, if you read the subtitle, prosecutor Thomas Binger dismissed the defense argument, making it sound like he's dismissing the argument in the title. That's not the case. I have no idea what Binger was doing there. I don't even think Binger knows, to be honest. He's not the brightest individual out there. But we're going to go ahead and read this article, and we're going to see how mainstream media can get the facts wrong and really infringe on the accused's right to a fair trial. So let's read on here. I looked into the background of the writer Antonio Planas. He is what they call a breaking news journalist. So he just looks for stuff coming off the wire, and he writes quick articles designed to get the news out. He is not an expert in much of anything as far as I could tell. He is not a lawyer. And I don't think that he was going to be able to listen to the arguments that were being played out in this motion hearing and understand them. And it looks like he didn't understand them at all. But let's go ahead and read this. Attorneys for Kyle Rittenhouse, who is charged with fatally shooting 2 people during a protest in Wisconsin last year, argued that hunting laws allowed him to carry the assault-style weapon used during the shootings. And this is where, when you see him saying, argue that hunting laws, he doesn't understand the whole thing about the subsections and the exceptions and all that kind of thing. He's listening to this. He's got some perception that there are some statutes that have to do with hunting or whatever. So he just writes down, argued that hunting laws allowed him to carry the assault rifle. Again, Antonio Planas, not a lawyer, and he just doesn't understand what took place at that time. And as a breaking news writer, he's not going to take the time to figure it out. He's going to have to get something out right away. Wisconsin law prohibits anyone under age 18 from being armed. Well, okay, wait a minute. That is not necessarily true, okay? And in fact, the whole thing about the motion is to determine whether it does prohibit anyone under age 18 from being armed. But again, Antonio Planas, he doesn't understand that. He doesn't get it. And so he just opens up with this statement that may or may not be true, depending on what the judge says. But Rittenhouse's attorneys argued that state laws only forbid minors to carry short-barreled rifles and shotguns. Well, it's a little bit more to that, okay? But at least that's somewhat reasonable. The other prohibitions pertaining to children fall under hunting laws, which say children under age 12 can't hunt with guns, Rittenhouse's attorney said at a hearing Tuesday. Yes, that did come up. There was that statement, but it's much, much more sophisticated than that. And again, Antonio Planas, I don't think he understands it. So I'm going to skip this paragraph. There appears to be an exception for 17-year-olds, defense attorney Corey Shirafisi said. Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger responded that if the defense wants to tell a jury that Rittenhouse was only hunting, it should do so. Why would they do that? They are claiming the opposite. They are claiming that Kyle was not hunting and therefore did not require a degree of completion or a degree of certificate. I forget what the actual thing is called, but you could think of it like a hunting test, okay? You have to take a test and you have to get certificated, and if you want to hunt. Now, the problem is that Kyle was only possessing a rifle. He wasn't hunting. And so Kyle's defense attorneys are saying that he didn't have to have this, and therefore he was in compliance with the law. It's convoluted. It's a little difficult. I get it. But certainly at no point has the defense ever argued that Kyle was hunting that night. Just the opposite. And it ends with Binger declining to comment along with Sharafasi. Again, this headline has really butchered Kyle. Let's go back. People are reading this. They are making the assumption that Kyle is claiming that he was hunting that night. And what's wrong with hunting protesters, right? And you can see how that's feeding into the whole Kyle is a white supremacist who went there that night to shoot people. It feeds right into it. And therefore, this is an extraordinarily damaging headline. If I'm Kyle's attorneys, after this thing is all over, I might have to go after the headline writer on this one. Now, again, there's a freedom of the press issue. I get it, but this is extraordinarily irresponsible on part of NBC News. Like my video, subscribe to my channel.